Hi, welcome to my biology class. Today's topic is a continuation of animal kingdom, but not the basis of classification that we have finished it. And here I just compiled the organ system and its evolution. Why it is too important? For example, the organ system will be studying from Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes to Chordata till Mammalia, but that is the very important system as it proceeds with the lower animal to the higher animal. And as the systems are developing well, the animal is so efficient in thriving in any climatic conditions, or whether it is in water or a land. That is one point. And second, we are just going to study all the phylum from phylum Porifera to phylum Chordata until Mammalia. So every phylum has got its unique features and the organs and organ system variation, and then digestive tract variation, and then the circulation. So there will be a minute difference will be there. So for each and every phylum, if you go through at the time of exam separately, there will be a kind of a confusion. So I just compiled it. Let's start with digestive system. Why the digestive system always comes first? Food is our life. If you eat well, you will be healthy. That's the thing. And if you respire well, you will be pretty healthy, because the glucose mixes with oxygen forming ATP. So for your the body size, accordingly you should eat. So what you eat is the energy to all the cells in your body. So generally any system when you talk about it will start with digestive tract. In your digestive system there is two types: incomplete and complete. Incomplete means just one hole, a mouth, and through which the food will get into, and then there is no exit point, there is no anus. That same hole, the food what it is getting in gets digested, and unwanted or undigested or whatever has to be excreted will be coming via the same hole. So the entry point and the exit point both same. That is incomplete. That is seen in Hydra. Of course in tapeworm also that is the condition, but it is a parasite. It lives in the vertebrate body. When it comes to complete, this is a well developed digestive tract. Mouth and anus, one tube, here and there some the bulginess like a stomach, and then the diameter increases in large intestine like that, but it is a tube. And that tube within tube plan, we have seen that you have one tube covered by the entire body. So the digestive tract, the food what you consume will be digested and then mixing into the circulatory system, and then the circulatory system connected with the respiratory system, and the respiration will be taking, and the cell is getting the ATP, and you are energetic. So this is how it goes with. So the food, because all the animals are heterotrophs, they'll be eating plants, herbivores. Sometimes they are flesh eaters like tiger and lion. They just kill other animals and eat. Carnivores. Sometimes like we human being will be eating both the categories, like we eat plants, animals, omnivores. And there are some category of an animal like a mosquito, leech, they'll be just sucking the blood and they thrive, and sanguivores, and leave everything. Someone will sit on somebody's body like parasitic mode for the food and shelter. They just depending on the host. But all the animal, whether it is small or a big, the food is necessary. So somewhere they'll be living, or somehow they'll make their life comfortable, and because of the food. When you come down to respiratory system, it's got a good elevation from lower level to the higher level. Why it is so means respiration. Even without food you can thrive for a couple of days, but without oxygen you just cannot thrive. So this is very important factor, that we are connected with the external environment. We give out carbon dioxide, we take oxygen. This oxygen mixes with the food and then going to the cell and give us an ATP, and that we get energy to carry on our life activities. And all the other systems are depending on this ATP. and so that respiration is very important. And generally you would have studied that the respiration two types, aerobic respiration, anaerobic. Anaerobic respiration is common in microbes, so you just can't see in animal kingdom, but there only one animal, that is Henaguya, and this is a parasite very close to this jellyfish kind, and this lives on the salmon fish mussels. And this is the one which is completely off with oxygen. They don't take oxygen at all, and this is a wonder in animal kingdom. And other all animals are coming under aerobes. Oxygen is must for making them to go with the ATP production. And aerobic respiration, oxygen, how the oxygen is getting into their body, and that is a beauty. When you talk about hydra, the lower, and even the sponges, the lowermost category, and they've got a body surface, so they are in water from the external environment to the inner environment. There is a body surface, the gaseous exchange takes place by diffusion, very simple direct contact. And when you come down to earthworm, earthworm is the one which is just below the soil surface. They don't go very deep into it, and they have some mucilaginous covering, and their skin has got a minute pores, and through which the oxygen supplies from and they release the CO2, and the oxygen is taken in. That happens. And frog also does. We'll discuss this. And trachea, insects are efficient with they also have a hole, but their hole is connected with the tube, trachea, and this tracheary branches. It goes like this, and this will take the oxygen and mixes with the body fluid. From here it will go to the cell, a bit advanced than this. When you come down to spider is actually they've got a book lungs, and it's kind of a book because they don't have a trachea, but this insect, spider, crab all belong to arthropoda. They've got a joint foot, so the locomotion is efficient, so they'll have to shell out more energy while locomoting. For that, the compensation is a developed respiratory tract. So here book lungs they've got. Then when you come down to the crab, they've got a book gills. Crab, you could have seen that it is in water as well as on land. So they've got a book kind of lungs and gills, and this will easily exchange, and that makes them to move in water as well as on land. In both the condition, it is accommodating with. And when you come down to the next category, prawn also belong to arthropoda, and fishes, they've got a gills. As I said, the oxygen dissolved in water is less compared to the terrestrial mode. So these animals should have a very efficient system to take whatever available oxygen in water. So they work very fast. So they go with gills. And the next category, when you come down to this buccal respiration in the sense, this is the buccal cavity. So the buccal, they just hold air for a long time, and the oxygen, the blood circulates, comes, the circulated blood from the heart in frog, they partially or impure blood will come and mixes with this oxygen and going to all part of the body. So frog has got a buccal respiration, and also it has got a cutaneous respiration, and it does possess the pulmonary respiration. So 3 respiration is seen in frog. Why? Because from the beginning, Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes are parasites. After that, when you come down to some annelids and arthropoda, most of the animals are water dwellers, like they just live. The life starts from water, so it just come, and then gradually it is coming to the terrestrial. So up till fishes, all are aquatic. So in this condition, their respiratory pattern is designed for water, and then once the animal move from water to the land, it has to switch over. No, immediately it cannot switch over. So they just have some organs can be similar to the one which it is present in the aquatic conditions too. So here what happened, they got a buckle, and this animal is lazy, and most of the year, like 3/4 of the year, they'll be under rest, like summer sleep, winter sleep. They just go to the deep of the pond and take rest. In that condition, the metabolic rate goes pretty slow. There they'll be using this cutaneous respiration, and during the breeding season, when they come out, they'll be holding more air, and then they making the croaking sound and all. Would have heard about it. And for that they go with the cutaneous and buccal as well as pulmonary respiration, because when it is coming to the land, they'll be using this pulmonary respiration. Pulma means lungs. The higher categories from frog, reptiles, mammals, birds, all respire with the help of lungs. The lung respiration is quite efficient because it is designed with the nostrils and then nose, trachea, and then going to the bag, lungs. Inside the lungs you've got alveoli, and that is the unit of respiratory tract. Here the alveoli will exchange the carbon dioxide and oxygen. The oxygen which is got into is mixing with the blood properly and going to the heart. From there it will supply to all part of the body. See the connection and how lung is connected with the external environment with the very efficient nostrils and nose. So from here you see the gradual evolution, and this is the lowermost strata to the highest strata. And from here, when you go to the circulatory system, here also there is a gradual change will be there, and you have two types of circulatory system. One is closed circulatory system, another one is open circulatory system. You know, when you talk about open means the body coelomic fluid is open and there is no blood vessels. That is the thing. When you talk about a closed blood vascular system, you have got a very good blood vessels, and blood vessels will carry the blood to the cellular level. And here in open blood vascular system, you have arthropoda and mollusca. All arthropods have got a open blood. As I said that the oxygen is getting into this trachea, and via this it is mixing with the body fluid and then going to the cell. There is no separate vessels. But in case of mollusca, a group of animals belong to this category, like octopus, sepia. They are all having a properly developed blood vessels, closed blood vascular system. Otherwise, the closed blood vascular system is seen in Annelida and chordate. All chordate possess closed blood vascular system. And in this, see the blood, the one which is carrying the oxygen, even in our blood carries, it's a red color blood, but the entire blood, the red blood corpuscles are combining with oxygen and then taking things like this. You've got a red color blood, hemoglobin, in all vertebrate animals, frog, fishes, and all vertebrate. And hemocyanin, cyanin means blue color. There is a blue color pigment, the blue color blood in prawn, and octopus also have got a blue color blood. And then colorless, some insects, white color, it is colorless you could say. But here the very important thing about tapeworm is there is no circulatory system at all. I said this the organ system, organs have started developing in Platyhelminthes, and some organ system also has got into it in Platyhelminthes, but here there is no circulatory system in tapeworm, since it is coolly seated in somebody's body, like, so they just consume whatever we consume and they consume. And when you come down to the skeletal system is a framework. Now, it's a very good framework. It gives a shape and strength and protection and all that. Here you have, that's the very important thing. Skeleton, muscle, neural system coordinate and will be locomoting. As an animal, it has to locomote from one area to another area for the sake of food, for the sake of reproduction. They'll be moving. So they need to have a good locomotory system, skeletal system or muscular system. But here the skeletal system is of two different types. One is exoskeleton. Another one is endoskeleton. Exo means outer side of the body is the skeletal system. No, it's not like that. There is a kind of a protection. So skeletal system is for a protection also. So, but it is present only outside, since they are all invertebrate animals. They've got some protection right from sponges. Sponges is stagnant animal. So if any enemy comes, they cannot escape. They just sit like that, So by naturally they are gifted with some spicules, and it is just pointing out the animal which comes to take them as a food will have a minute thought whether can we go very near to them, because it's a protection. The spicules are just coming out from their body. And when you talk about the starfishes, they've got a calcareous plates, very hard covering. They'll be fast walkers, but still they've got a covering. So they escape from this. It's meant for protection, but it is connected with internal muscles and it's also helpful for movement. But the main purpose is protection. And when you talk about molluscans means the shell will be there, except that cephalopod group, that octopus, sepia group. All the animals have got a shell. It's a very good protection for their body. And the scales, when you talk about the fishes, you immediately will think about the scales. And from there, the next category is frog. It is living in water as well as on land. So there is no any exoskeleton. But absolutely, when it is transferred to the land area, terrestrial zone, they've got a scale again. The reptiles have got a scale. Garden lizard, snakes, and tortoise, you could see a very good scale. It's all, this is the dry scale because it is in terrestrial, and since the fishes are in water, it is a moisturous scale. And feathers, birds means feathers, that is again the beautiful covering of their body. And when you talk about mammals, the most special item is hair. And especially the animal which lives in polar region have got a fur, very thick fur to withstand that cold climate. Apart from that, we have got nails, horns, hooves. All these are exoskeleton. When you talk about endoskeleton, so vertebrate animal especially, so these are all invertebrate. They've got a inner skeletal system. The importance of this is, see, the notochord is replaced by vertebral column. So this vertebral column is covering the spinal cord. It seems that this skull is there. So the brain is placed inside the skull. This is the most important organ in our body, which controls the entire organ system, coordinating the entire organ system. So the brain, so all the internal visceral organs like heart or lungs or kidney, whatever it is, everything is protected by a internal skeleton, and that's bones and cartilages and joints. Cartilages are a kind of a flexible bone, and there are some areas where you have this trachea. Trachea is the one which connects your body from external medium to internal, through which the air is moving. If this cut, the life will come to an end, but that should be covered by a hard plate. But if it is bony, you cannot move your neck like this. So in that area, there is a soft bone, the protection as well as the movement. These are all cartilages. And joints are so special that because of joint only we can articulate things, we can hold things, we can do things like, this articulation is important. Further details of all this we'll study under human physiology. So this is just only the 4 systems I compiled it. If you have any doubt, you please put it in the comment section, and share and subscribe please. Thank you very much.